So I will start very begin with you might have heard about the software testing lifecycle, right? How the QA engineer works into IT industry.
Yes.
So so can you help me? Is like what this QA engineer there does in this one
Yeah, so basically it's we call it STLC, which is software
SDLC?
test yeah, so software
Uh-huh.
test life cycle. We
Uh-huh.
start from the designing and it has like those steps. I'm not sure exactly, 5, 6 steps, which is like designing and all those steps, which I I don't remember it exactly at the moment, but basically
Okay.
those steps
Okay.
that you go through and then start for specifically for the tester that you just basically write the test
Mm-hmm.
and the test steps and the test cases and that's some stuff that I remember so far. So
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely right. So I was just clearing few things for you so that I will take you your days when you have done the course. Like I said, it's like just a quick revision. Um, so yes, like some of the things that you mentioned that whenever we work onto this any new project. So first of all, like our QA engineer, he will read a document that is known as BRD. Any idea what is this BRD SRS stands for?
not exactly, but I thought it means require. Do you mean requirement?
Requ- Yes, absolutely right. Business requirement document.
Okay.
SRS, software requirement specification. So like it is nothing but a document which will contain your requirements. So I am just take the example of your Amazon, for example. So Amazon, what should be the requirement? The products details should be displayed. Then we should have categories. Then we have a search facility. After that, we have a customer's information. Then we have some personalized information, customer support, payment related stuff, email information, invoices, shopping cart, multiple shipping payments methods are there, online system is there. So all this nothing but the requirements. So whenever you want to work any new project, this QA engineer will read all these, he will read this entire document. But here I'll ask you a specific question. Any idea why these different versions or what is the significance of it?
You mean the different version of the document?
Yeah. Can you share? Can you see my screen or I forgot to
No,
share?
I can't.
Oh my God. I'm really sorry. Really
No
sorry.
worry.
So,
Yeah, I see it now.
uh, I was at the time I was cleaning these things for your analysis, helping purpose. So these are the things that we were saying, Mustafa. Test analysis, where BRD, is we read this BRD. Then something known as test plan, design, writing the test cases. Then we have a setup. Then we have execution, and finally we have a closure report. So I was telling you, I was asking you, or before asking you, I was showing you these are some few of the requirements. Uh, Customer profile information, search related information, product categorization, email confirmation, invoice, shopping cart facility, multiple shipping methods, tracking. So all this nothing but your requirements. So Mustafa, you will read all these documents. That is nothing but that you are mentioning. First of all, we will read this document. So can I
Yeah.
ask you what is the advantage of it?
To better understand of the product that the customer
Very good.
wants.
Absolutely right. Better understanding of the product. Absolutely right. Okay. Now imagine that you are you know that you are going to test this Amazon like application. You know that. And in your requirement, it is written that we have to test this product on Windows as well as onto the Mac operating system. Take a hypothetical scenario. And in your company, you only have this Windows machines available with you, but you don't have a MacBook. So Mustafa, then where you will test this product? You don't have a MacBook with you, right?
Yes.
So the another advantage is you will come to know in advance. In advance, you will come to know, oh my God, I'm going to test this product, but for that I need MacBook. So once I will get official build or I will start testing, it is better I should talk to my management so that after 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, when we will start execution, they will provide me this device. This device should be ready.
The tool
Otherwise,
should be
Mustafa,
available.
yeah, imagine that after 2 weeks, when you are going to start testing tomorrow, and if you demand to your management, sometimes it is possible, it is not, make available device on that day itself, right? It is
Right.
unnecessary delay of the product. So I would say the second, the better understanding you said, the second one I would say here you will come to know what if I would say if all requirements are testable or not. So some requirements cannot be testable because of some hardware limitations. Like in our case, we did not have a MacBook. So there might be a number of reasons.
Can
But
we
yes,
also
this is,
call this like testing environment?
sorry.
Can we also call it like testing environment? Should be
Uh,
available.
yeah, testing environment here you will come to know here, and
Okay.
and that thing is we are just about to touch second part, test planning. That
Okay.
that that
Okay.
will cover indirectly your topic. Yeah. So here I would say what kind of requirements we can test, we cannot test. And of course, for that, we will need a test setup or not. So we will touch base that. But this is your first step. So now you came to know that you are going to test this Amazon related product, Mustafa. This is what you came to know.
Right.
So if we are doing any activity, so do you think that we plan our trip if you want to go somewhere? Similarly, if you are doing any testing activity, so you have a QA managers, you have your QA leads, they sit together and they create the entire planning. They discuss among themselves and they create a document known as test plan. This test plan will contain that for next 1.5 year what you are going to do all these things. So my question to you, if I ask you hypothetically, if you want to test an Amazon application, how much time you will need to test Amazon application? Now you know that Amazon. So Mustafa, any hypothetical number that comes in your mind? How many months you need it to test Amazon?
Well, it will depend like if I'm
Yeah,
more working on the application or the team and also like the skill
very good.
and the expertise of the
Absolutely.
team.
If it is a single person, suppose take an example, it is taking 3 months, like you said, right?
Right.
But if you have a three people with a different skill, someone can help you into the manual, someone can help you into the automation. So Mustafa, still you will need 3 months with three people?
Obviously not. It will be like,
Obviously,
yeah,
no. So all these things, what kind of, if you want to, so how much time it will take, this is decided into the test planning. So suppose I'm your manager, I would say that, okay, Mustafa, we have to test this Amazon. What do you think? So you will saying that, okay, Vinay, I will take it 3 months. Then I'll ask you, oh, come on, we cannot wait that much time. We have only 45 days. Then I'll say, can you take the help of Tahir? So you will say that, of course, if I take that help of Tahir, I can finish this project into 45 days and I will take care the manual part because I know the manual and Tahir can take care about the automation. So all these things we discuss, but you cannot remember each and everything. So we will create a document known as test plan. And in this test plan, we will mention how many people would be working onto that project, what kind of softwares we would be using, what kind of hardwares we would be using. So for example, in the case of this Amazon, we said that we will need a browser. But what kind of browsers are supported? Internet Explorer, we have a Firefox, we have a Chrome, we have a Safari. What would be their version? For Chrome, it should be the latest. For Internet Explorer, what would be the suppose 14 or 15, whatever. Then for Safari. So all these things, Mustafa, you cannot remember. So we'll create a one document. So right now you can see this is a BRD. but I'm pretty much sure I will be having a dummy document for, just give me a second, it would be easier for you. My God, I don't know, software testing. Oh, we have one small test plan, and this is available onto the internet. It's nothing. It's available everywhere. Oh my God, it is. I hope it should work. It's there. Okay, it would be difficult for you to grasp at this. Okay, anyways, so it would be tough for you. But just imagine that in the second phase, in the case of test planning, your manager and leads, they sit together, they create a one document. What are the contents of the document, that maybe we will see next time.
Okay.
This is your planning is done. Now, as a QA, you might be aware that you have to write the test cases. Am I correct?
Right.
But what document that you can refer, Mustafa, if you want to write the test cases? Which
Basically,
document?
whatever we're writing, we will just go. For now, we will go for the test plan because we already had that test plan in place. But other than that, I would say like whatever we are writing, we should just refer to the requirement or user story.
Exactly. Very good. Absolutely right. So for writing the test cases here, your concept is absolutely clear. For writing the test cases, we can take the reference of BRD. Our test plan is ready. So with the help of test plan also, but main document is our BRD. With the help of BRDs, you will absolutely write your test cases. Imagine for this Amazon related, you have written 4,000 test cases. Take an example. Now you have a MacBook. Any idea what is the latest version of Mac?
No,
Mac
it's-
latest version 10.14, for example. 10.14. So, Mustafa, you have written the test cases, and it is in BRD. It is said that you have to test on MacBook 14, and the company that you are working, they have a MacBook which has a version installed 12. So will you test this application of version 12, or what would you do?
no, because we have to test it on the latest version.
So after writing the test cases, the next official step is setup, QA setup, test setup, your lab. So here I will upgrade my MacBook, my prerequisites from 12 to I will go to 14. And if developer has provided me something, this is my lab is ready. The next step is test execution. So once your lab is ready, after that, whatever the 4,000 test cases that you have written, now you can use this lab, whether it's a laptop, desktop, it depends upon your project requirement. You can do the execution of this. And suppose these 4,000 test cases are executed in 45 days and everything goes well. The last step is your QA lead or your QA manager. What they does, they would send an official email. It's not a test email. Official email is like a giving a kind of sign off. SIGN, sign off. Quality check. Hey, we are done from the testing point of view. You can go ahead and you can release the product in the market whenever it requires. You interact with the DevOps team or with the top management, but our job is done. So this is what that you were referring. So you were very close to that, but in the interviews, because some people may want to ask you. So maybe if you can go with this sequence, it would give you more confidence if you
Right.
just break up this in a stepwise. Because sometimes we never know what the someone is asking. So now little bit is like a kind of revision what we do in our day-to-day life. or anything that you want to repeat or that you could understand from the six steps?
So basically, we would just go through our BRD business requirement document,
Yeah,
and through
yeah,
that,
yeah.
we will just assign that how long we need for the test execution. So based on that, we will just make a test plan.
Test plan.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and then after the test plan, we will just prepare the test environment, and then we will just write our tests and execute them. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I guess at the last step, we will just continue maintaining it.
Yes. In the last, if you want to go for the regression, if you want to go, some new versions are coming. So we just have to maintain those test cases. The new software version will come, and we have to regress those test cases. Absolutely. So, Mustafa, even if you know these things with such a long gap, I personally say that, it's like a good thing. It's like you know the things. Of course, theoretical things here and there, but I would say the overall flow is very much pretty much clear in your mind. So this is what we do day-to-day activities. Now, where you have to focus, uh, people expect that you should write the test cases. So do you remember what are the tools that you have used for writing the test cases or any template that you used to follow?
We basically use the Excel and
Excel, absolutely right.
the
Have you
other.
heard about TestLink? TestLink,
No, not the test link, but the tool that we were using previous
HPQC.
quality center.
Yeah, correct, correct. Yes. Or, but I would highly recommend you that everyone is working into the agile mode of working. So here you may have to brush up, or maybe you can join us. It's like you just brush up about the knowledge of your Jira tool. This is nowadays is used a lot. It is used like you were just saying for maintaining the user stories. It is used to raise the bugs, and also it used to write the test cases as well. So here you have to upgrade yourself how to use Jira. This is pretty much good to begin with. Okay.
Okay.
For the setup related, if it is very easy, you guys can do yourself. Otherwise, nowadays you will get the help of DevOps engineers. So my first question to you: have you heard this word DevOps engineer?
Yeah, I heard the word, but I don't know exactly what they do. So, but yeah, I heard of
Yeah.
DevOps engineer.
So I would say that what it will do, it is very simple words. Like I said, suppose you have to work onto the cloud and you have to work onto the AWS or you want to work on Azure, for example. So Mustafa, you don't have so if I ask you upgrade Mac from 12 to 14, you went from some YouTube channels, blah blah blah. You managed to upgrade that MacBook, but you don't have expertise of AWS or Azure or some cloud technologies that you are not aware. So nowadays, these DevOps engineers would help you to create your setups, test setups, not even setup, production setups also it is done by these guys. So basically, I would say environments, different environments. Any idea different environment that you have heard? We have a testing environment, we have a staging environment, we have a pre-prod. I don't know, have you heard this word? And we have a production.
Production. Okay.
So this DevOps engineer, you might have heard about system admin few days back. System admins, I'm pretty much sure. System admin, they used to help us to help to resolve our network related issues, some hardware
Right,
related
right.
issues. So I would say DevOps engineers like is like more is like a big brother of system engineers. So they would help you to create the setup. And the most important thing, earlier you are a developer, they used to provide official build, but nowadays it is the responsibility of the DevOps engineer to merge the code into the respective branch and trigger the build. So nowadays, this DevOps engineer would help you to provide official build for the testing, as well as they would help you to do your setup. So this is some new things that has came. And I can discuss for DevOps engineers like almost we have 100 hours of syllabus on this. It's a totally a new role in the market. So like you are focusing right now onto the automation engineer. Maybe similarly, if you go for the DevOps engineers, so that is also pretty much boom in the industry. So of course, 100 hours of our we cannot explain in 10 minutes, but just to basic idea, it is like a big brother of system admin. So some responsibilities from the admin and some responsibilities of the developer. It's a development operation. DevOps engineer, like a development operations.
Okay.
So these guys would help you in those stuff. So yeah, I guess is like these things you should be aware all these things. And for the setup related, I told you. What else you'll be requiring here for the execution?
So we can also use DevOps as a high, basically a level higher than automation engineer.
Uh, I wouldn't say is like a higher. It's a totally different path into industry. So usually, we have these three roles: DEV developers, we have testers, and I would say now we have a DevOps engineer. So these three times nowadays they work together.
Okay, okay.
If you ask me into the demand, of course, there is no comparison. Now, DevOps engineers, you may get 100K per year. That is in tremendous demand, DevOps engineers nowadays. If I was a number one in the market, then even I would say, no, it's like here you will need the skills of AWS, that we always say cloud. Then you should know about the Jenkins, JVM. Then I don't know, have you heard about Dockers? Then we need Kubernetes. Then we need a Terraform, and such a huge list. And of course, you should have a very good understanding about the networks. So to answer your question, is like pretty much in demand. But if you say, so I won't say is like there is a comparison. It's like tester has a specific set of jobs. DevOps has some responsibilities. Developer also have some responsibilities. They work together to deliver the product. I would say like
Oh,
that.
okay. So they basically work mostly in the DevOps side of the application, and basically the production side.
Yes, if suppose tomorrow Amazon is not working, for example, then their DevOps engineer will come into it, dig into it, what is happening, what is not happening, is maybe some network related issues are there, some router is not working. They will, do R&D of it. So I would say DevOps engineer is a combination of network engineer, system admin, developers, and they would help you to troubleshoot. It's like to unblock you to unblock developers for writing their code, to unblock testers to do their testing. So whatever the support is needed, that comes under DevOps engineers.
And they do
So
it in the production level?
they do in the production level, of course, but they also help you to create your QA setup as well. They help you.
Okay.
Yeah. Even sometimes if they need, they help even developers also to debug some of their local issues as well. Suppose this developer, Mustafa, he has a very good knowledge of Java programming, for example, okay? But he
Yeah.
has never got about the AWS. He's not about the words about S3 bucket and all this stuff. For example, these things are new for you. Of course, they can talk to the DevOps engineer. Hey, I want to write this code, but can you just help me where I should point out this buckets and all these things? So that they can coordinate with each other. So DevOps can work with the developers, testers, basically all these three things they work together.
Okay.
Another point I just want to make is DevOps generally control your environment. Like you're doing
Control,
a
yeah.
p-test, if you're doing performance test or functional test in a particular environment, and you're testing a certain release of a code, you can ask the DevOps to, okay, go ahead and set up a release 14 environment in my p-test. And they'll go
Yeah.
ahead and execute that. They'll set it up so you can do the perform your testing. And somebody else comes in and says, okay, now I want to test 16 release, and they'll take it down and they'll set the next environment up. So that particular group generally is known as the DevOps. They also support you for releasing products in production as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll give you another example. It's the same thing that Tahir has given. Suppose this WhatsApp application, Mustafa. Here we have
Right.
three features: audio, video feature, and we have a chat feature. Now you have three developers. One developer is writing the code for audio, second is writing for the video, and third one is writing a chat one. And here you are in your lab. In your lab, you have your testing environment. Now today, your developer one is ready. He has provided you the build, which has audio related code is written. Your DevOps engineer would help you to deploy this build, which has audio related stuff on your testing environment. And Mustafa is done with their testing. Tomorrow, your video build is ready. But Mustafa, on your testing environment, right now this audio build is installed. You are done with the testing and you have to check the functionality of video where you will test it. You don't have other environment. Here this environment is already occupied where you will deploy this build.
They basically create you a pipeline.
Basic creating a pipeline, then for that you have to buy a lot of infrastructure. You have to spend onto the VMs. It is costly. Suppose you have another environment. Just take an example, testing 2, hypothetical. Okay, sir. You are installed here video related. Okay, no problem. But tomorrow you will receive chat related stuff. What you will do now, Mustafa? Will you create another third environment?
I guess we will
So
depend on the DevOps people to provide that
ex-
environment.
exactly. So here, once your build audio related is done, tomorrow, if you are receiving a chat related stuff, like Tyro was saying, now this DevOps will come here. Okay, now this testing is done. Let's install chat build here. And whatever the remaining code is there, we have a staging environment. This guy can go ahead and do the related of audio some regression onto the staging. But right now, testing will contain only chat related code. You do your R&D here. So this is how these guys help you to control your environment or help you not indirectly, or is like they are involved in to unblock you from your doing the testing. So this is also the one example that Tyra has given. Plus, you can add this as well. It would give you the it's like both the lookout to you.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Like I said, it's like we don't have to aware about too much about the DevOps engineers, but like I said, in the agile, everyone is working now in a day's agile mode. So here, this tester should also aware about a little bit about the DevOps. If tomorrow, if he's saying that to your QA engineer, hey, like you have used some word now, pipeline, and I'm pretty much sure Mustafa, you were talking about CI/CD. Am I correct? Have you heard this word CI/CD integration?
Yes, continuous integration, continuous
Exactly.
development.
So here, Mustafa, you have written the automation code for 200 test cases, okay? But for that, these test cases should run on AWS, for example, okay? Here, now your DevOps engineer will come into picture. There is a one tool Jenkins. There is a one tool GitHub. Any idea about what the GitHub contains? Have you heard about GitHub?
Yes, basically you
Source code.
put your code there.
So now this, although you have written the code, you are automation engineer, but Mustafa, where you will execute this piece of code, you need some environment, you need some setup. With that setup, you need some tools known as Jenkins. You need a GitHub. We need the integration of that. Plus, they should talk to the AWS. Once this is ready, then your 200 test cases execute there. So here also to 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 build, I would say to build CI/CD pipeline, DevOps engineer are also there for you. It's their responsibility. You just have to write the source code, but to execute that source code, if it is passed from, say, suppose say staging, then it should be integrated with your pre. If it is passed, then it would be integrated with prod. So yes, that is also their a major role and responsibility. So you should be aware about this small things.
Mm.
Perfect. So yeah, at least you have a little bit idea about what DevOps engineer. Maybe after this session, if you go just watch any random YouTube video, so at least you can correlate what these guys are saying. And it
Right.
is good to have a little bit of idea about what these DevOps engineers are doing nowadays. Perfect. My next question to you, have you ever done any programming language? Any programming, it is whether old one or
We did
whatever.
the Visual Basic, which we use it for the UFT.
Okay, are you comfortable about the little bit about the concepts of loops, if else, something like that? Any idea? Have you heard this word
Uh,
loops, if else?
it's the Java concept, right?
Yeah, these concepts are in all the programming languages. So I don't know in that Visual Basics that you have used, because I never got onto that. But are you aware about these concepts? What do you mean by loops, if else, or have you heard this word arrays, something like that?
A little bit,
Or
yeah, because I was kind of like
okay.
having these going through these stuff like a long time ago, but so
Okay, maybe I'll write something for loop, while loop. Maybe they will remind you something. But it's like these if is like this is the bigger chunk where I guess because from the manual, like I told you, it's like looks like you don't need much things from that STLC topic. But when I use this word, so I personally feel this is your area of focus, programming language programming. And like I said, I would prefer Java. And plus, we were saying our tool, that is your
yeah,
Selenium. And from the manual, have you done API testing?
not much now.
Then we must need it. We need to cover this as well. So if you uh, go with these things, so it's like whatever the knowledge that you already have of the manual, plus if you add this API with them, still you can go with the jobs of manual testers, which is unfortunately, if there are 10 jobs, you will get hardly one or two jobs for the manual. Still they are there, but very less. So in
Right.
the meantime, when I will teach you maybe for the APIs, maybe for 3-4 days, then you can try for this manual jobs, and side by side you can prepare yourself for the automation. So this would be is like a roadmap, I would say, for you.
For the API, we use Postman, right? The tool.
Postman, absolutely right. Yes. Because if you are going for the manual, they must ask you, are you aware about the API testing? So it would be a very good opportunity for you. Because automation would take you at least 3 to 4 months. So I do not want that you should stay for 3 to 4 months before introducing yourself into the market. Till you get knowledge of automation, of course, you can upgrade. Sorry, till you're upgrading yourself on automation, you can focus this one or two jobs. Who knows if you can crack this, they can hire you and they can train you in the automation. It happens a lot in some of the organizations as well.
Right.
Perfect. So yeah, this is just, I would say it's like a kind of introduction session or kind of go ahead session where you were, or is like where you are, what are the things that you should focus. So I just given you a touch base. But of course, after this session, you talk to Tahir, and he's the right person who can, is like tell you what is the best way that we can help you out.
Okay.
Yeah, Tahir, this is what I had planned for this, and I guess you can connect with Mustafa.